Hello there, gamers everywhere. I'm Swipper92 and I'm here with a first look at Alaloth, Champions of the Four Kingdoms. Alaloth is a RPG adventure game with a focus on, I would say, exploration and combat. It's very reminiscent of the old, more classic and old school RPGs. But what is something that drew me to this game mostly was that I love the art style of old RPGs. I love the top-down camera and all of that, and the aesthetic and the designs. But I've never been very good with turn-based combat and party management. Now, this game does not have that kind of party management or turn-based combat. It's actually more inclined with a hack and slash Dark Souls inspired. It has a stamina bar that you need to look out for, and the combat is kind of, well, somewhat difficult actually. It's not a straight hack and slash. You don't just go in and start slashing. You need to parry, block, and I've noticed that blocking with a shield is probably the way to go, because each time I'm using two weapons, and each time I block I actually take damage. Now, get to let's start from the beginning of this game. You start a character. You get to choose a bunch of different things. There's religious things like gods, your house, race. You can start as human, orc, elf, or dwarf. I started an elf. You get to design your character, how he or she will look. You can't you don't distribute any points or any kind of spells or abilities, anything like that. That is not in the character creation. You do get to choose like your god, which will the god that you worship to, and other things like that. That gives you small passive bonuses instead. Now, after creating a character, you get a short. Actually, the voice acting is pretty good because there's cutscenes in this. They are not really cutscenes in a traditional sense that we are used to today. There's no animated characters or anything like that. There's more like moving pictures, shall we say, like more art styley animated thing. It's not fully rendered characters who are doing things. I do like this way they are telling the story in that way. As for the in-game, when talking to people in the game, that's more restricted to just texts, which is fine to me. I have no problem with that. The only problem with that is that sooner or later, I will start just skipping. Normally, I do follow along with conversations and all that in the beginning of these types of games, but suddenly I start skipping like everything. Oh, and I should mention that this game is in early access. It's in early access, developed and published by the same company called Gamera Interactive. Gamera Interactive, however you pronounce that. Not 100% sure there. But I do like the style of this game, and I do like the combat, even though it is kind of hard. Each time you die, I think there are 3 days that passes before you are revived at a shrine. You get to keep all your inventory, but the things you have looted or rather, when you die, you don't get to loot the area you were just in or the battle you were just in. So take care of that. I do like the exploration that you have to do in the game, because, well, exploration might be a bit might not be the correct word here. The game is open world, but open world in a sense of you can, once you go out of the tutorial and you get to where you can go out into world, you can go pretty much anywhere you like. And it's a big map. But the areas you can move. You move on a basically a board, as you can see in the gameplay here. You basically move on a board with your character being like a chess piece or a character board tabletop character that moves along the paths or the forest. You move slower through the forest unless you have something that gives you movement speed through the forests and such. Same with horses, you can buy horses and move faster. Some horses move faster on plains or faster in forests and so on. Some horses move faster on the road. And that is an important thing to remember because as you move through the world on that tabletop map, time passes. You can see in the top left corner that time passes as you move. And as you are moving, so are the enemies. Now the annoying thing in this is that enemies have quite a range, it seems. If they notice you, they will start following you, and depending on where they are and where you are, they might catch up with you and you have to start battling them. Now the battles are quite nice. It's free flowing and there's dodge, parry, block, and of course light and heavy attack. Soon later you will get some abilities, and these abilities are, well, different depending on what you want to use. There's magic, of course, and there's melee, and there's ranged abilities. This works kind of different, as I understand it. You have to complete special locations. I can't remember what they were called, but these kind of locations are usually like mission based. Not strictly the main mission, which is to find 4 different kind of keys. I can't remember exactly what they were called, but you're tasked with finding 4 keys out in the 4 different kingdoms of the world. And that is 100% free, freely. You don't know where to go, you don't know who to talk to, or anything like that. Your goal is to explore the world and hopefully find one. That's basically it. And that is a very interesting concept. Now there is you can track missions in this game. It's not like it's not that you need to read every word a character say or go into journal to see every word and find out where you need to go, because you can track quests and see where you need to go. But the main mission isn't like that because you don't know where to go, so there's nothing to track. But I do like the style of gameplay in this, and I'm very much looking forward to see what this will come into later on. The combat is, for the most part, pretty damn well made, but I have also read some of the reviews on Steam, which is mostly positive so far. Some of the reviewers who are leaving either negative or positive do comment on the hitboxes, which I do agree with. Some of the hitboxes are a bit weird both for the enemy and for yourself. I've been hit even though I could have sworn I would not have been hit by that. And the combat, and what makes the combat kind of annoying is also that the fact that ranged, I guess this is a good thing in some cases, as it makes the combat a bit more difficult and realistic, but I do hate it when there are a bunch of archers and when you start chasing them, they just runs away. It's annoying. But at, that didn't bother me as much when I got a companion, because yes, you can find companions out in the world, in different cities or wherever you find them. And these companions actually have quests for you this is actually part of the trailer where they talk about quest lines with companions. And this is also a very nice addition to the game to me. It makes the companions feel more fleshed out. They just don't feel like oh, this one is here to help you. They feel more alive, I would say. It feels like they have a real backstory, they have their own problems, but they choose to help you because they need your help with something, or they might do it because, yes, you are on an important quest, because you are known as the champion. But depending on what kind of game mode you choose, you can either play just breeze through the game basically or you can choose to play with the game having other champions out in the world, one for each kingdom. So you are one, and then we have then I guess 3 other champions from the other 3 kingdoms. Now these champions are not players; they are AI controlled, so they are not players. At first, I actually thought it was gonna be players, but then I learned no, it's really not players. I haven't faced one, so I don't know what kind of battle that will be, but it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very interesting to meet a champion of one of the kingdoms. As for now, I really don't want to fight one, as I don't feel ready for that just yet. Also, another thing to know is that when you're out in the world looking for, well, whatever it is you're looking for, you might want to explore a certain thing, but look at the skulls. Below certain areas there are skulls, and if the more skulls, the more difficult it is. Keep that in mind. I don't know how many skulls it was on the first place I died at, but it was really difficult. And before you enter certain areas, you can actually eat food, which does increase your max health, and it can increase your stamina and crit chance and many other things. Later into the game, I've learned that more spells and also passive bonuses from legendary items and such will be available as well. But I haven't gotten this that far. This is a first look after all. I only have about almost 3 hours into the game, and I've died twice, I think. Yeah, 2 or 3 times I've died, and so far I'm actually enjoying the game. I'm playing with a gamepad. That's also important to notice, but maybe you noticed through all on the gameplay. Let's see, what else can we say about this lovely little game? I love the design. The design of this game is pretty awesome, actually. The city designs, the character designs, the animations, it's all very well done. There is one thing though, that's when you're sprinting, it seems like the character is like lagging a little bit. He runs and then he like I don't know, glitches, lags. He like it's like he vibrates a little bit and then he takes 2 steps or something like that. It's weird when you're running. It's not a big deal really. It doesn't change the gameplay in any way. And I have not encountered any major bugs. Most hotfixes I've seen so far seems to actually be balancing in weapons and such, as they don't want you to become a immortal god, which some players actually managed to do. They used a certain spell with a certain item, and then they had life steal. So such a high life steal, they could just stand there and just hit the enemies without dying. And yeah, that doesn't make for good gameplay. That makes it quite boring. But I have nothing more to say about the game. Well, not yet anyway. We'll see where I get to with this game. So far, I'm really liking it, and I'm gonna play much more of this and see What more I can find out about this? What else is lurking behind the next corner? Or beyond the realms of my own border, as I haven't even stepped out of my own kingdom where you start. Because there's plenty of quests. Now, the quests are kind of basic so far. Kill that, hunt that, to deliver this. But yeah, the style they do it, that makes it quite worthwhile to me, actually. But that's enough from me. Have you played Alaloth, Champions of the Four Kingdoms? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Or are you interested in anything of this in this game? There's a link in the description to the Steam page. I've been Swippin92, have a great life, and I hope to see you in future videos. Bye bye!